Well, there, okay. And I think there's like a 20-second delay, so I can't really watch it because then I'll get messed up. Hi, Chris.
Hi. It didn't work.
It didn't work? Okay, we'll get at it tomorrow. So.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's see here. This goes on. All right. Hey, there I am on YouTube. It actually worked. 20 seconds behind. Okay, now I'm going to close that browser. Huh. That's pretty cool. So how is everyone doing here? Good? Beth and I was telling Frank, Beth and I picked up some pretty bummer colds, sore throat kind of thing, but my voice is starting to come back, so that's good. I was a little worried, but it seems to be all right.
I'm happy. The link worked. I got on tonight.
What's that?
I'm happy. The link worked. I got on tonight.
Right, yeah, I haven't seen you in a while.
That's why I have trouble with links. I got found you keep on your website, don't you, those links for the meeting?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to be a little more yeah, like include the links in there, and we'll just see how changing things up. My video tomorrow, I think I'm pretty happy with how it came out that I'll put up tomorrow. But using multiple cameras, I can show the keyboard. I was telling Frank earlier, I show the keyboard on my iPad because it's a video on how you can add an escape key to the keyboard. There's no escape key on a smart keyboard.
Right.
So tomorrow, if everything worked right, I recorded it just before this. I haven't edited it or anything, but yeah, there's a camera on my keyboard and then a camera on my iPad, of course, and all that good stuff. So we'll see.
Where do I find it? Because I definitely want that escape key on there.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be on my site tomorrow, so you'll find it on the site tomorrow. But it's actually pretty simple. So maybe towards the end, this.
Where do I look for to find it on your site?
It'll be right on the front page. So, yep.
On your website?
Yeah.
On the front
Yep.
page?
Dan's tutorials. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good, thank you.
Yep. All right. Let's see here. 6 o'clock. We will get started here. So, let's see. Is this thing? Yeah. Okay. Welcome everyone to my class. This one is going to be on productivity tips for the Mac. And basically, it's things that I do. There's probably 10, 15 things that I do when I get a new Mac, or that I recommend people to do when they get a Mac. And some of them are hardly ever used, but they're still kind of nice. And other ones I use on a daily basis. So basically, just little tricks to hopefully make yourself more productive on the Mac. Some of them are going to be pretty obvious, and then some of them are like, oh, okay, well, so let's get started, and we're going to take a look at my first tip here, and that is this one I've been using for years. It's how to always show the path bar in a Finder window. Let's go over to my Mac, and I'll show you what I mean. So when I'm looking at my Mac here, where's my mouse? There it is. And I open up a new Finder window. I got to move a window out of the way here. All right. I'm looking at a new Finder window here. Down towards the bottom, what I can do is I can add the path. And what do I mean by the path? Well, when you dig into
I
a...
got a blank screen. I don't know if that's me or the other people.
There we go.
No, you're not. It's not you.
How about that? Now you got it, right?
Now I got it.
Perfect. Thank you. New software. I'm still learning. All right. So I'm in my Finder window here, and basically what you can do is show the path of a folder or of a file. And what do I mean by path? And what I call a path would be like when you put something in the filing cabinet, and you put it within a folder, within a folder, within a folder. That's the path. So if it's in, let's say I had the title to my car, that might be in my Tesla folder, which is going to be in my automobile folder, which is then going to be in my house folder. So that's the path that it is in. So I know that, oh, it's going to be something with the house or maybe car. Oh, it's going to be with you just kind of dig down and find out where it's at. Of course, I would never do that because I can't file. Beth is the master file in our house. Mine is just a stack of papers, but but my computer actually is pretty good. So as an example here, if I go to my applications folder, here are all my applications. Oh, here we'll go here. There are all my applications. And within this application folder, I have a utilities folder. So the path of these utility applications is going to be in my applications folder, which is then on my Mac. So that's the path. One way of seeing that is by going up to the top where we have utilities here. And if I control click on it, I can see the path. It's a nice way of doing it, and I use this one on a regular basis as well. So I can see that, oh, this is in my applications folder. It's on my Macintosh HD. Where it really comes in handy is if you're in a documents folder. And you could be in here. Where is this at? Well, if I hold down the control key, I can see that that is in my Zoom, which is in my documents, which is in my iCloud drive. But I don't always have to click on that. What I can do is add that path bar down at the bottom of the Finder, and it will always show. All you have to do is just go up under View here in the menu bar, and then you're going to see Show Path Bar. When I turn this on, down at the bottom, we now have a path bar. So I can see that this is in my Zoom folder, which is in my documents.
We don't see it.
You don't see it?
I don't see the bottom of your screen.
How about,
There it is.
okay.
Oh, that's all you got? I didn't know that was always there.
Yeah. Well, you have to turn it on. I'll move this up. Maybe I don't have the, so,
Yeah, that's great.
yep. And no matter what I select, so if I go back over to my applications folder, and let's go back into that utilities folder, and I select, let's say, Boot Camp Assistant, I can see right away here that this is in my utilities folder, which is in my applications folder. And I can actually click on any one of these folders here. So let's go back over to my,
Question.
yeah.
Looking at your screen there, they look, the items, the list and all, they don't look super clear. They look a little blurry. Is that just me?
No.
No? Okay. Let me look at Zoom here.
They're not real distinct. They look fuzzy a little bit.
Okay. Let me look here. That is going to be a Zoom thing, I believe. New share. Optimize. Maybe I didn't do that. Okay, we're going to try.
And the black bar across the top with mute and all that, those also look like very, almost quite indistinct.
Is it getting any better there? No?
Oh, really?
Okay.
No.
Let's try.
The resolution is really low.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's try stop share. And how about that?
That's sharp.
That's good?
Can't see it.
Yeah. Okay. These are the things that I have to figure out. It's supposed to be clear when I do a screen share.
No, it's not.
Optimize share sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still looks very fuzzy.
Okay, let me look at something else here.
Your whole screen is that way, Dan.
The whole screen is.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
even the things on the documents and stuff on the right side of your screen.
It all look like it's out of focus.
Let's
Well,
see.
you don't have something too high resolution, and you can gear it down to a smaller resolution, like 720 or something like that.
Yeah, I have the stream size set as high.
Yeah, but they do it themselves, but they don't like what you're something like that.
Let's see here. Stop share and let's do. Sorry about this.
Probably packed it up just showing your Zoom meeting screen. And you add something else in there, it's probably too much for it, so here's the resolution down to 720 or something.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's set for optimize, and usually when you use the, here, let me do this, advanced, and we need to, content from second camera, we'll try this, and we don't want that camera, switch camera, we don't want that one, we don't want that one, we don't want that one. You can see I got a lot of cameras here.
Wow.
And that is set. Camera. Output. Virtual cam. All those are on. And wow. Let's switch camera. There's a fun one.
Oh, okay.
Monday, not tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Virtual cam.
Not wrong with that.
We're good there.
Just about Mac House computer. Productivity thing. Don't make any sense to you. What do you want me to watch?
I just had that guy Ernest again.
How about that?
Definitely better.
It's better.
It's better?
Yeah,
Not where you
the
want
things
to,
on the
but
right,
definitely
yeah,
better.
everything is clear.
Okay. 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 I'll add this to my notes. I'll have to figure this out why it's.
Happy people here. We have nothing already.
Hey, Dad, did you hit the record button?
Oh, no, I did not. Thank you.
On the fly, he was going
Record.
elevator, he stepped back to let me on. I said,
All right. It is now recording, and we will continue. It's better, right? Not great, but it's better.
Yep, it is.
Okay. Okay. Where's my cursor now? Okay. Let's get back. So I'm going to open up a Finder window here, and
Much better.
okay, cool. I chose the wrong thing, so my fault. Again, through the next few times that you're going to see, like I've mentioned before, I'm using new software, so you know, the learning curve, but it's going to be much better once I get it all figured out. So,
Have Neil turn off his audio.
I got it upstairs and got it in the.
Hey.
It is distracting.
yeah.
They're talking on his and they're talking over you.
Let's see here. Neil, can you mute?
But my calendar for tomorrow,
Let's see here. How do I mute all?
the trip on there,
Mute.
and pick up dry cleaning. And I put pick up dry cleaning.
And hey, Neil,
Yeah.
could you mute your microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep, it's all right. It's all right. I'm gonna figure out. That's what I had to figure out too, is how to mute everyone. So, okay.
If you click on participants, mute all should be at the bottom.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm gonna mute everyone. Sorry. All right.
Oh, I saw
I thought I would mute all.
He's still.
a couple come.
There we go. Whew. Okay. Now, can I hear anybody? Oh, you're all muted, so I can't hear anybody. Okay. So basically, when I go into the bottom here, you're going to see that I have my path bar, and I can also click on any one of these folders. So if I wanted to go back to my applications folder, all I have to do is just click on this folder here. Let's move this up a little bit. Click on this folder, and then it'll take me to the applications folder. So that path bar can come in handy, especially if you like to keep your files organized. You can easily see what folder all of your different files are in, or what folder your different folders are in, that kind of thing. So that's the path bar. The next thing I like is to set what a new Finder window opens to. By default, the new Finder window will open to your most recent items. I personally don't like that at all. So when you open up a new Finder window, instead of going to a specific folder, I have mine going to Dan's Tutorials here. What it will do is it will go to, oops, I got to share the screen. So when I open up a new folder here, instead of going to Dan's Tutorials, what it will do is it'll go to your most recent items by default. I like it to go to my home folder, and then I can go into the folder that I want. And the way that you do that is by going up under File, and then, go up under Finder, and then you go over to your Preferences here. You're going to have a new Finder, or the Preferences for the Finder, open up. And under here, you're going to see it says New Finder Window Show. And again, by default, what this is going to do is this is going to show your recents. So this is how it's going to be set when you first set up your Mac. So now when I open up a new window, it's going to go to my recents. Like I said, I like to set it to my home folder. So all I have to do is just click on this. And this is under General, so you have to make sure they're under the General tab. But basically, you just go and select the folder that you want. And if you want to select another one, we do have, the standard folders here. Dan's Tutorials, Desktop Documents, Icloud Drive. But if you wanted to put it to a different one, maybe you have an Office folder and you just want to have it open up to that all the time, or a personal folder, whatever you want, you can go down to Other here, and then you can select what folder you want it to open up to. You can select from any folder on your computer. I'm going to go back over to Dan's Tutorials, and now when I open up a new Finder window, it immediately goes to Dan's Tutorials. So then what I'm able to do is I'm able to select which folder I want to go to. So that's probably, I do that more than the path bar. The path bar is kind of like a nice informational kind of thing. But this one annoys me. I'm not a big fan of recent folders. I do try to keep my computer organized, and by putting it in recents, you really don't know. Yes, it's easy to get at stuff, but when you're saving something or whatever, it just makes it a little bit more difficult. So I generally, that's probably the first thing that I recommend people do, is change that. The next one is showing the status bar in the Finder window. This is related to the path bar. So when I go back over to my Mac here, we have our path bar down here at the bottom. Well, we can also add a status bar. This one isn't as important as it used to be. In the past, I used it because I could easily see how much space I have on my Mac. It just gave a status of the computer. And the way that you do that is you open up a new Finder window. So I have a Finder window open up here. And again, we just go up under View here, and under View, you're going to see Show Status Bar. All I have to do is just select this, and you're going to see I have my status bar. So this is going to be at the bottom of every Finder window. So now I can see that this particular folder, Dan's Tutorials, has 9 items in it, and I have 948 gigabytes available on my computer. If I go over to my Applications folder, I can easily see that I have 153 applications, or folders and applications. Again, 948. The space is always for the computer. It is not for the particular folder. It's always for the computer. But you can see how many items are in here. Like say, I used it more in the past just to keep track of how much space, because hard drives were so small. Now with hard drives being a little bit larger, and we have our Icloud drive and all that, it's not that big of a thing, but it's more of a habit. And I can see how many items I have. If I go to Downloads folder, I probably have quite a few items in here. Well, not that bad, 104 items. If I go to my desktop, I have 22 items on my desktop. So we can easily see how many items are there as well as, you know, the hard drive space. So now the reason why this says 1.58 terabyte, remember how I had 900 gigabyte? Now all of a sudden it's 1.5 terabyte? Well, that's because my desktop is located on Icloud Drive. It's not on my computer. So this is telling me how much space I pay for Apple's 2 terabyte plan. So I have 1.5 terabytes left that I can use because my desktop is using iCloud Drive, not my computer. So if you see two different things there, it's probably because you have a different hard drive or maybe Google Drive or iCloud selected. I go back over to downloads here. We are back at 948. So that's why you may see two different things there. The next one is showing the scroll bar. This is a little bit of a lot of people like it. It's not that big of a thing to me, but I know that people absolutely love this. This is one I don't have a lot of videos on YouTube, but this is one of the most popular ones, and I get comments on it on a weekly basis, if not more, positive comments. So when you are scrolling, let's go back over to my applications. As you know, I have a lot of applications here, and we're going to change our view to where it's just a list view. So I have a lot of applications here. When we go over to the right, you're going to see I have the scroll bar. Well, the scroll bar here will disappear after an activity. So if I move my cursor away, you're going to see that that scroll bar is no longer there. To get the scroll bar back, what I have to do is move my cursor over top, and then I just scroll. I'm scrolling right now. It is not showing. I move my cursor over top of it, I scroll, and now we can see the scroll bar is there. Now the problem with this is, if you want to grab that scroll bar, it disappears. So I can't grab that. So you kind of have to grab it. You have to scroll, and then you have to grab it, and then you can move it around. What a lot of people like is to always show that scroll bar. This is how it used to behave years ago on the Mac. You could always show that scroll bar. And it's pretty simple to do. We just need to go to our system preferences, and this is going to be system-wide. So it's going to be on all of your applications. It doesn't apply just to the Finder. It applies to all your applications. So you could be in Safari. The scroll bar will always show. In order to do that, we just go over to our system preferences here. And then under General, we have Show Scroll Bars. Now we have three different options here. Basically, we can automatically, based on the mouse or the trackpad, you can have it show when scrolling, and really those two are roughly the same. You know, it's automatically based on your trackpad and your mouse, or when scrolling. Well, I'm using a trackpad. It only shows when I'm scrolling, so I'm not sure what the difference is between those two. But really, the one, if you really want to, the one that people love is Always. So when I select Always here, you're going to see immediately that scroll bar is there, and it will not disappear. It's always going to show. So now, you know, my cursor is not anywhere near that window. It's up towards the top here, but if we look, you can see that scroll bars. I'm going to move my cursor again, and you can see that it is there, and it does not disappear. So I can easily just go and grab this and move it around. If I'm in Safari, you're going to see that I have my scroll bar, and it is always showing. My cursor is not over top of it. There's my scroll bar. It is always showing. So that seems to be a favorite among people, is to always show that scroll bar. And it is nice. I don't know why Apple, you know, probably to save space. Who knows what their thinking is when they do some of these things. But the nice thing is they left the option to where you can show it. And again, you just go to your system preferences, go to General, and you set it to Always. And then from that point on, your scroll bar will always show. So. The next one is Stacks. This was introduced, was this with Mojave? or Big Sur. It was introduced a couple of OSs ago. I'm going to hide my Windows here. And we're going to...
It's in Mojave.
Came in Mojave? Okay. So basically with desktop stacks, you're going to see that my Mac here has a lot of different files. And prior to desktop stacks, and when people don't use desktop stacks, this is generally what you get. They are just all over the place. You know, some people will organize all their photos over here, and they might put all their documents down, you know, towards the bottom here, and, you know, things like that. Which is great. If you keep that organized, you won't want to use stacks, although stacks might help out. But a lot of people, and I see this with the students, is they just let this thing fill up, and then all of a sudden, you know, they could have 100 files on their desktop, and it's hard to find anything. Now, one thing you can do is you can clean it up. You can go up under View, and then you're going to see Sort By. So what I'm able to do is sort these. So I could sort them by name. I could sort them by kind. I like to have them sorted by kind. So I'm just going to go with kind here. And then when I do that, it grouped them all together by kind. But if I go and add another file here, it's not going to be sorted. That's a one-time thing. The next thing you can do is you can go back under View, and then you can also, oops, I'm sorry, clean up. If you clean up, you're going to see this cleanup is grayed out. Cleanup is a one-time thing. Sort by, it will always do it. So if I add another file, it will keep them sorted by kind. But my favorite thing here is stacks. Again, if you have 50 items on your desktop, it's going to, even though they're organized, it's still going to look a little bit messy. With stacks, what it'll do is it's almost like a little folder. Basically, it creates a stack of same type documents. So let's go ahead and turn this on. This was a great feature. You're going to see that my desktop immediately cleaned up. So here are all my documents. Here are all my images. And here are all my movies. I want to view all of my movies. I want to see all of my movies. All I have to do is just click on this stack, and they fan out. Now I can see all of those movies. I want to close it again. I no longer want to see all of my movies. All I have to do is just click on this here, and it closes it up. You can open all of them. So I could go up to Documents here, click on it, and then I go over to Images here, I click on it, and then I go over to Movies here, and it creates, you know, basically my messy desktop here, but also what I am able to do is just clean them up by just clicking on them. And now, oh, I'm looking for a specific image. There's no reason, if I'm looking for an image, there's no reason why I should look at all of my documents as well. There's no reason why I should look at all of my movies. I'm looking for an image. All I have to do is just click on Images, and now I can see all the thumbnails for those images. So that's how desktop stacks works. This was a great addition, one of my favorite things that Apple added. If I were to add another image, I'd just put it right on top of the stack. And I could still view it. So now, in the past, it was always a thing. You will still hear people say you shouldn't store a lot of things on your desktop because your computer's constantly redrawing that. So you do not want to have a lot of things on your desktop because it could slow down the computer. On older computers, it most likely did. You know, if you had 100 items on there, it's constantly redrawing those 100 items. So back in the day, I've always tried to keep my my desktop relatively organized. It is a holding space. It is where I store a lot of stuff. But now with desktop stacks, you don't have to worry about that so much. I'll admit, on certain occasions, I might have 100 items on my desktop. But that doesn't mean that there are all 100 items all just out there. They're all stacked nicely. And with computers being as fast as they are and being that they're in a stack, it doesn't have to redraw all those. I don't know if that old myth still holds out, but I haven't noticed any problem with it. And we tell the students at the school to use desktops, you know, stacks if they can. It's a great way to keep your desktop organized. So. The next one, This one is also one of my favorites. This is what I use daily. Daily basis I use this one. Hot corners. And basically with hot corners, what we're able to do is set what happens when we move our cursor down into a corner of the display. And we have a number of different options. The one that I like is to show the desktop. So if I have a lot of items open, so what I'm going to do is open up Safari here. Let's open up reminders and calendar. I'm just going to open up, some different programs here. This is typically how we work with the Mac. We have a lot of different programs open. So what can happen here is these will cover up the desktop, So now I can't see what's on the desktop anywhere. And the only way that I can view what's on the desktop is by moving things around. Or I could hide items. But if you have to hide 2 or 3 items, it can be a pain to see what is on the desktop. Maybe you need to access a file. Like I said, what I do is I use my desktop as a holding, it's a temporary storage. So how can I view what's on my desktop really quick? Well, hot corners. What I have, and I'll show you how I did this, but basically when I move my cursor down in the lower left-hand corner, this is how I have it set up. You can set it up however you want. When I move it down in the very far corner, all the windows disappear and I can see my desktop. You're going to see that they're still on the edge here, but I can easily access my desktop. I can click, I can open up any one of the files, whatever I need to do. It basically moves all of the windows out of the way. But now I want to bring all those windows back. How do I get them back? You just move your cursor down to that same corner, and there are the windows again. So I just get to my desktop, move it again, now I'm back. So how do we set this up? There's actually 2 spots in System Preferences where we set this up. So when I go up to my System Preferences here, I go to the Apple menu, and then we go over to our System Preferences. Where this is set up is either under Desktop and Screensaver, or it is under Mission Control. It doesn't matter which one you use. It's going to take you to the same place. But the Hot Corners button is located under both of these. It's been like this for several OS. Well, ever since they introduced Hot Corners, it's always been under those 2. So I'm just going to go with Mission Control here. And you're going to see down at the bottom, we have Hot Corners. So now all I need to do is just click on this. And then in the center here, you can see I have 4 different corners. What I'm able to do is set what happens when I move my cursor into each one of those. So over on the left here, lower left, I have desktop. So that is why my desktop shows, because I have it set for desktop. And when I click on this, I can have it set for a number of different things. Mac OS Monterey introduced the Quick Notes feature. And the way that you access those quick notes is by moving the cursor down to the lower right-hand corner. Well, if we look, basically what Apple did is they added a quick note for it. So let's go with Mission Control. I want to use Mission Control. With Mission Control, what it does now is it's going to show me all of my windows. So now, when I go up to this upper left-hand corner, there are all my windows. And I can select on any one of them. You're going to see that each one has a blue border around it when I move my cursor there. So let's say I wanted to go to my calendar. I click on it, there's my calendar. Well, actually what I need to do is I need to go to my notes. I'm not sure where my notes are. Just go up and then we go to our notes. So that's how Hot Corners work. And really my favorite one is the desktop. Basically, I need to get my desktop. It's my holding. It's my temporary storage. I have a lot of windows open. It just moves them all out of the way. I can get to my desktop, do what I need to do, and then I can go back to all my windows. So that is one of my favorites. So let's see here. Next, we have Add Trash to the Finder window. This is one I've been doing for a while as well. So let's quit out of everything here. Actually, I'm going to show you this one. This is not in my, I don't have this in my thing here, but what we're able to do is quit out of apps real easy. You may know that you can switch between your open apps by using Command Tab. If I hold down the Command key and a Tab key, we have this little window that opens up and I can switch to any apps. Pretty easy. This has been around forever. But also what we are able to do is quit out of any one of these. I want to quit out of reminders. All I have to do is just hit the Q key. I'm still holding down the Command key. This is why we have that little modal window there. But when I hit the Q key, it quits out of there. So now what I'm able to do is quit out of each one of these. I'm going to quit out of notes, I'm going to quit out of calendar, quit out of messages, quit out of maps. These are the two programs that I'm using for this webinar, so I don't want to quit out of those. But basically, I was able to quit out of everything just by Command Tab and then Q, 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 and skip over the ones I want to keep open. Real easy way to quit out of everything. All right, so let's get back to how we add the trash to the window and why I like this one. So I'm going to go back over to my Finder window. I'm going to open up a new Finder window here. And, we have our toolbar located at the top here, and it has default tools in there. But what we're also able to do is modify this, and we can add our own tools in there. And what I like to do is add the trash in there. The reason is it's not that bad. I mean, I can select this and then drag it down to the trash here. That's not a big deal. But wouldn't it be easier if you just selected it and clicked on a trash icon in the toolbar? You don't have to drag it all the way down, especially if you have a window that's in the upper left-hand corner. I love gestures. I love drag and drop. But, doesn't mean that it's always the best solution, especially when you have to drag it all the way across the screen. So what you can do is modify this. So if I hold down the Control key and I click, I'm able to customize this. It's been around on the Mac forever. Select it. And then I have all of these different tools that I can add. I can modify it. I can remove items from here. If I never use tags, I can just take this tags here and drag it off. I don't use it. Why would I have it take up space on the toolbar? If you want to add it back in, it is back in here. So you're going to see edit tags here. I believe there's a tags somewhere. And then you also have the default toolbar set. I can drag this up and it brings it right back to where it was when you open up the Mac out of the box. But what I like to do is delete the trash. So all I have to do is just drag this up. I place it where I want in the toolbar. You can see we have a green plus there. So I just drag this and I place it where I want. I'm just going to place it right here. And now I just click on done and you can see we have the trash there. So now how do I use this? Well, let's go with this lesson template. Well, I'm going to duplicate this. I don't know if I really want to throw that away. So we're just going to duplicate it. I don't need this duplicate copy. I want to throw it away. All I have to do is just click on, I have it selected here. So now that it's selected, anything that's selected, when I click on delete, it's going to delete it. It's going to move it to the trash. It's not going to delete it. You'll still be able to access it from the trash, but it does move it to the trash. So much quicker. You could select a number of items here and just go up to trash or delete and it'll delete it. You no longer have to take this and then drag it down to, the trash down here at the bottom. You can just select delete. Just all you have to do is just select it and then click on delete and it'll delete it. You can also use a keyboard shortcut for that as well. If you were to go up to File, but this is another, I'm a huge fan of keyboard shortcuts, but, there's a lot of different keyboard shortcuts to remember. And this one here is Command Delete. So I'd hold down the Command key and the Delete key and it'll automatically move it to the trash. But in some cases, you might not want to remember that. That's, all you have to do is just select it, go to Delete, and it'll delete it. So let's see what we have next. add the applications folder to the dock. All right, so the reason why I like this is I know that I can open up a new Finder window. I can go to applications. I'm at 2 steps already, and then I can see the application here. I have to scroll to find the application I want to open. So there's a lot of steps to find an application. Well, what you can do is add the applications folder to the dock. So I'm going to take this out of the dock, and we're just going to start over to add it to the dock, and then we'll see why I like it in the dock. So I open up a new Finder window. We go over to my applications here, and what I'm able to do is take this little icon here that will appear. You can see it has a little icon. I have to wait for a few seconds. This is Big Sur and Mojave kind of thing. If you're using Big Sur and Monterey. If you're using Mojave and older, that icon will always be next to applications. Apple decided to remove it in Big Sur. A lot of people didn't like that, including myself. What you have to do is you have to move your cursor over top of it, and then it appears. So it's like a 2-step process. Well, luckily in Monterey, you can add that back in. It's a preference. But anyway, that's not what I'm here for. I need to add this application folder to my dock. Well, being that this icon is showing here, I can drag this. You can do this with any folder. You're going to see I have a green plus. So all I have to do is just take this and move it down to my dock. It does have to be on the right side of that vertical line. And when I do that, I have my applications. So now what I'm able to do is click on this, and there's all my applications. I can just swipe up, and there they are. I click on the one that I want to open. I get the icons. They're nice and big. They're organized alphabetically. I add a new application. I'm just looking at the folder here. And I can just go and select which one I want to open. Real simple. And it's basically how I open up applications. I always go down here. If I need to open up an application, it's just super simple. Just go down to the dock, click on it, and find the application. I can even go as far as just typing a key now. So I use, let's say I wanted to open up the utilities folder. I just go UT, and then it automatically highlighted the utilities folder. I can hit return. So really, let's go and do that. I'm going to open up the utilities folder. I just click on it, UT, I hit return, and there's my utilities folder. And now what I'm able to do is select from any one of these. If I want to open up that in a Finder window, let's say I wanted to open up this folder, I no longer want to have it in the dock, all you have to do is just click on Open in Finder, and it opened up my utilities folder in the Finder window. You do the same thing. I think my next one is the downloads. We're going to see. Yes. So place favorite folders in the dock. So with this one, my downloads folder, obviously I like to have in my dock, and it might be actually in there by default. But I will also place folders that I access on a regular basis in my dock. And all you have to do is just drag them over to the dock. So open up a new Finder window, and let's say I wanted to have, do I have downloads? I'm going to remove it. I want to have downloads here in my dock. Just like with applications, all you have to do is just drag it down and place it where you want, and it adds it in there. But here's what's nice when you add a folder. You can actually set how you want to view it. So with the applications, I like to have these as a big icon in alphabetical order. That's how I do it. Well, with downloads, I don't want it in alphabetical order. I want to have it sorted by the date the file was added. So then the latest file that I add to my downloads folder is going to be easily accessible, because generally your downloads folder can get quite large. How often do we clean out our downloads folder? Probably never. I don't. So, you could have 100, you could have 1,000 items in there. So what you need to do is organize it to where your latest thing that you added, not modified, but that you added, not created, that you added, you need to have it sorted by that. So when you control click on this folder, if I hold down the control key and I click, you're going to see we have a number of options. So right now it is sorted by name. That's not what I want. You know, I go and add a file. I want to see when it, sorted by date added. So now all I have to do is just select date added here. And when I do, when I click on this, the last file that I added is in the upper left-hand corner. The file before that, and the file or folder before that is right there. So it's going in chronological order by the date they were added. You can also change the view of this. So if I control click on it, I can display it as a folder or a stack. So right now it is set as a stack, but if I go as a folder, basically it just looks like a folder here. So just more visual. I like to have the applications not as a folder. I like to have it as a stack so I can see the applications here. But the downloads folder, I generally, it's a folder. So I like to have it as a folder. You can also change how this is viewed. So when I go control click on it, the last thing we're going to look at is view content. We can view it as fan, grid, list, and automatic. So with automatic, what it'll do is it will automatically change the view between fan, grid, and list based on how many items there are in it. If I go to my applications folder, control click on it, you're going to see that it is set to automatic. Generally what I will do is I will set this to grid, because then it will always be this grid. So I'll select it. And now whenever I click on it, no matter how many items are in there, it's going to be a grid. With the downloads folder here, what I will do is I will probably set it as a list. So I just click on list here, and now when I click on it, it's a list. And the last item here that I added is going to be, it's going to be sorted by the date that try it again here. The date that it was added. So that's some tips on adding folders to the doc. It's a pretty powerful tool. You can also add folders over here to complement the folders in the doc. You may want to add them over here in the sidebar as well. You just have to drag them to the sidebar. So let's go with, I have parallels here. I want to add that. Maybe I access that quite a bit. I could drag it down to the dock, and then I can also drag this over to the side here. You can see I have a blue line. So wait till that blue line is there. I let go, and now I have parallels there. So I'd be able to access it from the dock or from the sidebar. You want to remove it. It doesn't delete it. You control click on it, and you're going to see remove from sidebar. It doesn't delete the folder. All it does is just remove it from the sidebar. So I'm going to remove this. I don't need that in my sidebar. And we can still see the folders there. It's just no longer in the sidebar. So you can put your favorite folders down in the dock and in the sidebar. So now you have easy access to all your applications, and you have easy access to your favorite folders. Our next one is using iCloud Drive. So if you are fully vested into the Apple ecosystem, I am, of course, although I'm warming up to Google Drive and all that. We use it at the school. But with the Apple ecosystem, what you can do is access all of your, well, I shouldn't say all, you can access specific folders from all of your different devices. The two folders that you can set up are your documents and desktop. So if I save anything to my desktop right now, what I am able to do is access that from my iPad, from my iPhone. If I had another Mac, I'd be able to access it from another Mac. So I have my iPad here. Let's see here. Log in. And we'll show you here. All right, so I have, is that the right one? Yeah. All right, so when I go to, let's the way there. Go to my Files app. You're going to see, when I go to iCloud Drive, I have desktop. And there everything is. So here's, on my computer, I have Zoom.
I can't see your iCloud drive. It's very small.
Still screen sharing, Dan.
Okay. All right. I'll have to figure that out. You'll have to trust me. I'm just going to go back over to my Mac. But basically, when you go to the Files app and you go to iCloud Drive, what you're able to do is see everything that's on your desktop, and you're able to see everything that is in your Documents folder. So those two folders are automatically shared. So this is why...
Little.
It is?
It's almost like a little picture in a picture.
How about... There you can see me, right?
Yeah, but it's little. It's a small, like a little, the old camera slide, just a little slide towards the bottom left of my mouth.
That's because you're screen sharing yet, Dan.
I've been screen sharing. Let's see here. I'm going to stop. And I'll try it again. Any better?
We're seeing what we're supposed to see. We're seeing your desktop.
You're seeing the desktop?
Yeah, which is what, or yeah, that's what we're supposed to see. And then we can see the white centers. So we're seeing the right thing. That's what we see.
Okay.
We see the desktop, but it does not have your picture on it, like the little miniature.
In the corner, it doesn't have that?
No, correct.
Okay. So let's stop and start video. We don't want that. That's the fun one. Let's go with screen share. It worked flawlessly with Naples yesterday. Let's go with this one. How are we there? No good?
It's about a.
Or is it blurry again?
Now you're okay. It was like a 50% picture and then it bloomed.
It's like fuzzy though.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the blurry one. Well, that's good. That's consistent. You've heard me say before, when you're trying to troubleshoot, I like consistency. So now I'm going to change the screen share. We're going to go with this one. And this one should be clearer.
No.
The video thumbnails have been I just saw a message. I wonder if it's my bandwidth.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
It's getting clear now.
Okay, it's my bandwidth. I just had a chat with Comcast. I'm on the 10 megabyte plan, but it's probably because I'm live streaming. I wonder if that's it with YouTube. So I apologize. It was an experiment, so I know what I need to do to make that better. So for anyone that is on YouTube, let's see if I can stop that. No, I can't. Okay. Well, we're almost, it's almost towards the end anyway. So let's go back and we're going to go to my next one here. Okay, use the keyboard shortcuts. You can create your own keyboard shortcuts on the Mac. So if there is a menu item that you use quite a bit and it doesn't have a keyboard shortcut, if we look here, you're going to see, I just created a video on this, so I'm just going to recreate it. You're going to see that I have here a show clipboard. This will show the clipboard, anything that I've copied. And if we go over to the right, I do not have a keyboard shortcut for it. So every time I select this, what I need to do is I need to go up under Edit and then go to Show Clipboard. Well, what we can do is we can create our own keyboard shortcuts. So we can add these to different apps. We can add keyboard shortcuts where there aren't any. In Keynote, I like to export some of my slides as a movie. There's not a keyboard shortcut for that. So what I'm going to do, I haven't done it yet, I'm going to add a keyboard shortcut for exporting it as a movie. So how do we do that? It's all done through our system preferences. So I'm going to go back up under our Apple menu and we're going to go to System Preferences. And then what we need to do is go to Keyboard. Under Keyboard, we have at the top these different menu items, and the one that we want to go to is Shortcuts here. So when I select Shortcuts, we can see we have a number of different options here for creating shortcuts. That's what we're doing, is a keyboard shortcut. And the one that we want to go to is App Shortcuts. We're going to create a keyboard shortcut for an app. So what I want to do is create a keyboard shortcut for that clipboard, show the clipboard. So what I do is I just click on the plus here. I try to make these, you can make them for all applications, but I don't like to do that because then you could easily get into keyboard conflict, keyboard shortcut conflicts. If an app uses a certain keyboard shortcut, then another app might use the same keyboard shortcut, and you're going to run into a conflict. So generally, I will set these up as an application-specific keyboard shortcut. So I want this for the Finder. The Finder is just another application. So I just go and select all applications, and we go until we find Finder. Now, all I need to do is type in the menu title. It has to be the exact menu title. So when I go up under, I think it's under View here. Nope, let's see here. Oh, there it is. So it's under Edit. I have to type in here the exact thing, because that's basically what it's looking for, is that menu item. So I'm going to type in here Show Clipboard. So I just type in here Show Clipboard. You can see it's exactly. Now what I do is I type in my keyboard shortcut. I have found out that the Control key is a pretty good one. Not a lot of keyboard shortcuts in the apps use the Control key. The Command key is one you want to stay away from, unless you specifically know that it's not being used on anything. But the Command key seems to be the go-to for everyone. Command M, Command E, Command C, Command, whatever it may be. Command E will export something out of ScreenFlow, different things like that. So the Command key you want to stay away from typically, unless you really know that it's not being used. Control key is pretty safe. Option key is also pretty safe. So with this one here, what I'm going to do is just use Control C for clipboard. So all I have to do is just hold down the Control C in the key, and you're going to see I have here Control C. So now when I add this, and when I'm in the Finder, it will only work when I'm in the Finder. When I'm in the Finder here, I go Control C, there's my clipboard. So if I were to copy something, let's just copy this title here of the app. So I'm just going to select it, I'm going to copy it. So that is now in my clipboard. I want to show the clipboard. All I have to do is just go Control C, and we can see there it is. Again, not that you need the clipboard that much, but the idea is if you use a menu item quite a bit and it doesn't have a keyboard shortcut, you can easily add your own keyboard shortcut to it. And again, it's just under System Preferences, Keyboard, and then Shortcuts. Select the application that you want to add it for, type in the name, type in what the keyboard shortcut is, and next time you open up that app, you can use that keyboard shortcut. This keyboard shortcut will not work if I'm not in the Finder, because I specifically told it to be for the Finder. You can use it for all applications as well. If there is a universal one that you would want to use, you can select all applications. But typically what I do is I'll just use it for specific applications. A perfect one for me that I've been using for years is I use ScreenFlow here for my recordings when I do my lessons. And what I can do is upload it to Vimeo automatically, but there's not a keyboard shortcut for that. So basically all I have to do, I just created a keyboard shortcut for it. I use Control M because Control V was used for something So I thought Vimeo. I can't use V, so M, the next consonant. So just Control M, and it automatically opens up, selects that menu item, and I can upload it to Vimeo. So very, very easy to use, and if you're a keyboard shortcut fan, it's a nice way to keep using them, even when Apple or the developer doesn't create their own keyboard shortcut. You can do it yourself. There are third-party apps that will do this as well, but this is just built in, and it's basic. Third-party apps will do a lot more. You can create macros and things like that, but just down and dirty, simple. All you need is a keyboard shortcut. You can do it on the Mac just through the system preferences. So, all right, that's what I got. All right. And look at my timing is perfect on that. Perfect. So does anyone have any questions? I did not look at the chat at all. So I'm going to pull up the chat window here. If I can find it.
I have a question.
Go for it.
The email you sent out, the reminder, I think you sent it out today.
Yeah.
Used that to log in to watch this, and it's been quite blurry, fuzzy on my end here. So I don't know. You mentioned going into it through YouTube, and even after you fix it, I mean, it's still the last 5 to 10 minutes. It's been blurry.
Yeah.
I don't know if you use a different link for that for today versus the one that you sent when I signed up for the class, I think.
No, it's the same. It's the same link. So basically, what I am doing, for those of you who do not know, and like I say, I think it'll make things a lot better. I just need to figure things out. But a perfect example is I showed Frank this in the beginning. So tomorrow you're going to see a lesson, hopefully, on how to remap the. Sorry for people that have heard this. Map keyboard, the escape key to one of the keys on the iPad's keyboard. So what I'm able to, the reason why I'm going with the software is, first of all, it takes less time for me, and I'm building more of a direct connection with everyone, which I like. And then but the big one is also with the cameras. I have a few different cameras here, and if I go to my iPad, so let's see here. There's my iPad, but I also have another one, and you can actually see, so I'll be able to create Apple Pencil tutorials with this, and you'll be able to see on the screen. So there's a lot more what I can do with it, but there's a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes. So one thing like I say, thank you for being patient. One thing that I believe that I need to do is up my bandwidth. So I think that's why we're getting the thumbnails. I did up it from 5 megabyte to 10, and I talked with Comcast, and it's just another $10 a month. And I'm going to up that to where I get 20 gigabyte upload, and that should be sufficient. But outside of that, I think that's a lot of the reason why it's blurry is the bandwidth. But I definitely am going to look into this. Essentially, what I'm doing, everything's still done through Zoom. You still log in through Zoom, and the way that Zoom works is it has a camera input, right? You could use your camera on your display. You can use a webcam, whatever, basically whatever camera you want to use. So the software that I'm using is called Ecamm, and what it can do is it can make the screen share a camera as well. So that's how I'm able to do all this. I can manipulate all of this. Whoops, still looking at my iPad there. So I can manipulate all these different cameras, and I can easily switch. You've all seen me struggle when I'm like, okay, let me connect up to my iPad, and then all of a sudden it doesn't do it. That is no longer the case. Do I have my iPhone plugged in? Yeah. So as an example, if I wanted, I don't have a scene for the iPhone, but it's with a click of a button in this guy. what I'm able to do is say, let's go to my iPhone, and we're going to be looking at my iPhone. I can even go as far as put the iPhone and the iPad side by side, and then we'll be able to see how they compare when you do stuff. So I can really elevate how how all of Apple's devices all work together. The Apple Watch, I've been looking for something for a couple years on this. Well, now what I'll be able to do is use one of the cameras for the Apple Watch, kind of like what, if I were to go back to the face cam here, I could, show the Apple Watch, and I could put myself in the corner. I could put the iPhone in the corner, so then when we make a change on the iPhone, you'll actually see it on the Apple Watch and the Watch app, kind of thing. So huge amount of advantages, but there's a technical hurdle that I'm learning, that I'm trying to get around. So in the long sense, I think it'll be helpful, and I think everyone, it'll be helpful to everyone, but I need to figure it out. So
I've noted that you have an audio lag too.
there is an audio lag? Okay. See, and that all might have to do with bandwidth. So, okay. All right. I will take note of all that, and I'm going to keep tinkering. So,
Catch the pebble from my palm, grasshopper. Hey, Dan, does Zoom work at all with spaces? In other words, if you've got all these devices hooked up at the same time, would it be easy just to swipe over and have a specific space that's dedicated to something else?
not necessarily, no. I've tried that with that. The old way. I've tried that, and it didn't work out. The other thing, when you're sharing with the camera, it runs. At least I found that I run into problems with that. So, but like I say, this is yesterday when I was on Naples, and maybe I don't know what the difference. It's same setup. It just worked flawlessly. Frank was on that one last night, and it really worked well. I didn't have any glitches, and now today I'm having glitches. So I think bandwidth is a huge thing, and maybe it's because I'm trying it with YouTube. It's not something that I'd want to do on a regular basis, but I thought, well, let's just see what happens, not knowing that it would cause problems like this. But my guess is that's what the problem is. So, all right. Well, thanks everyone for putting up with the little glitches. And I'm not going to promise that everything's going to be smoothed out in the next few times, but I will get it smoothed out, and I think it's going to be better. Next week, I didn't realize, I guess I should have realized it, but the 23rd, I'm going to be doing an AMA on the 23rd, so everyone's welcome to join me there. And, maybe it could just be a Hollywood cheer, holiday cheer kind of thing. But I plan on next week, Thursday, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, doing an AMA, and then we'll go from there, and incrementally get this better.
Snipping a little bit of the holiday cheer already.
Yeah. Maybe I need to have a beer after this.
And all Packer fans say thank you, Rams.
Hey, Rams did good the other day.
They did.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thanks everyone, and
Dan,
yeah.
see you next week.
All righty. We'll see everyone next week, hopefully. So, outside of that, have a good weekend.
Aloha.
Mahalo.
Bye.
Bye. And I'll see you tomorrow, Chris.
Yeah, I figured I'd hear from you.
Yeah, I haven't yet, but I'll email you maybe tonight or whatever, and then we'll go tomorrow. So, all right. Thanks everyone.